Bro, it's
Hello, Liam.
so chewy.
What's chewy?
Whatever you just fed me. What is this sweet?
It's you know had eclair before.
Yeah. Not for years.
All right, so let's start with the. I actually forgot completely. What games did you watch?
We should probably go over the Villa one, 'cause that's the one I feel more passionately about. Quick summary, I just watched the Everton...
Well, I thought you said you're going to start with the Villa game.
Yeah, I know, we'll talk mostly about the Villa game. But
Okay,
because I've just come from watching the Everton-Brighton game, Grealish is back, by the looks of it, 2 assists in my fantasy team, so I'll take that, 2 bonus points. Yeah, I can see, like I said, I can see him being the old Villa Grealish of just get the ball to him, let him have complete freedom, loads of touches, so I was banking on that. They look pretty solid, good save from a penalty from Pickford. Brighton a little bit disappointing. Yeah, that's the summary, that's all.
Well, I guess I kind of do want to unpack that a bit. How do Everton look under Moyes?
I caught the end of their last game and Grealish came on and they were a bit crap there and their fans were a bit negative. Can't remember who they were playing. They were better here, first game in the new stadium. I guess that kind of inspired them a little bit. It's not like expansive football. It felt, but yeah, I mean, it was solid. You know, they were just solid defensively. They've got a bit more now with Dewsbury Hall and Grealish and.
How was Dewsbury Hall, my boy?
He was decent. Even the guy up front, Barry, did well for the last goal. Yeah.
The French Louis Barry.
Yeah, they had a bit about them. Even Eric Bunham's playing the last couple games. He had a decent.
He was starting for. No, I think I'm getting that wrong. But I did think he was selected under Sean Dyche, and then Moyes, I think, started to play regularly.
He was playing a lot at the start of last season, and he got dropped a bit. But he's again the start of this season. He's playing.
Looks like they got the better end of the deal.
Yeah, they did. I mean, we got Dobbin. He's fucking shut. He's gone on loan to Preston. That was just a PSR thing. But yeah, they got a better end of that deal. But yeah, Everton, they look solid. Grealish is back. That's the summary of that. All right, on to the Villa game.
Cool. The big one.
Oh.
So where was that? Villa at Brentford, right?
Brentford up the road. Yeah, I got caught in the traffic on the way back after watching it on the stream. But yeah, I mean, a bit disappointing, to be honest. Emery picked the same kind of defensive team he did against Newcastle, even though we created 0.13 XG in the first game. Thinking, okay, surely he's going to play Guisson, surely he's going to play Marlin. Nope, same team with McGinn on the wing and Tielemans attacking midfield, etc. And then even when we got an injury, he brought Buendia on as a sub, which was a bit weird. And then he subbed him off as well. So
really? How many minutes did he get?
He got just under an hour.
Oh, God.
Got subbed on and hooked, which is always a bit embarrassing. But yeah, it just feels a bit weird at the moment with Villa.
How does Buendia still have a career at Villa? Is it
we were going to sell him, and then he did well in pre-season.
The Leon Bailey effect.
Good. All right, she's going there. We can chill here for a bit. Let's move just over here. She's just picking something up, I think, from that box thing. We'll just stand over here to one side. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, it's just a bit stagnant. Obviously, we've got these financial restrictions, but the thing that frustrates me is, people say how we can't sign players, but then we've got Maatsen started on the bench again, and Marlon started on the bench, and Guisson started on the bench. Now we're linked with Jackson and Nkunku. Forward players aren't necessarily the problem. I know we haven't scored yet in the first 2 games, but we have still got some talented players there. Even when Emery signs them, we don't play them at the moment. He plays a defensive starting lineup, and our defence is pretty trash. It's still mostly the defence we had under Gerrard. It's Dean, he still picks ahead of Maatsen. We had Mings in there the other day, obviously Konsa. I mean, Konsa's decent. Cash and Martinez. That's the back 4 we had under Gerrard, and we've not really put any money into improving our defence. And I'd say that's more where our problems are. So we're linked with the likes of Nkunku and Jackson. I'm still thinking, why can't we just bolster the defence? We still haven't signed a right back. We're still playing Cash after all this time.
I find in the last 2 or 3 years, what I always find quite annoying about Villa is that you're chop and changing your attacking players, and the spine of the team always stays the same. And it never feels like you're improving year on year. It just feels like you're just rotating wingers almost, McGinn's still there, like you said, the same players are still there, but you just change your wingers, and it's just...
It's controversial, but honestly, we had interest in McGinn this summer. I probably would have sold him.
Yeah.
He's going to be 31 soon. I think this idea of experience and everything is a bit overrated. He's a solid enough player, but you're a bit capped if you're playing someone like McGinn, especially if you're playing off the right wing or in attacking positions. You're not going to be finishing you're not going to be challenging near the top of the table or challenging for trophies with someone like McGinn in your forward line. You're just not.
It is like, I don't know if this reflects about Emery, but it is quite typical of defensive-minded coaches to have that one player that they
like a workhorse who's solid, but yeah.
And I know McGinn is definitely that for.
He's not even he's not the problem necessarily, but even like Rodgers was really bad again. He actually got a lot of stick online from Villa fans. Like obviously he just got young player of the year, but he's so hot and cold as a player. He's not leveled out where he can always put in like a 6 or 7 out of 10. He's either like a 9 or 10 playing brilliantly, or he just gives the ball away every time he gets it. And in both the first 2 games of the season, he's just lost the ball every single time. And this is the other issue I have with Emery. He has his favourites, like Pau Torres again was weak as piss for the first. Torres. He was so weak for that first goal, but Emery will always pick him. And the same thing with Rodgers, like he wouldn't hook him. It would sub everyone else off, but he'll always leave Rodgers on. And you know, I do like Rodgers, but it's a bit frustrating, you know, when managers have favourites who just like, even when they're playing terribly, they'll never get hooked. Whereas someone like Marlon, if he did start a game and didn't do much for a half, he gets subbed off and he wouldn't play for the next few games. But you know, the favourites will just always get picked again and again. And McGinn's probably in that favourite class as well, where
why do you think
he loves him.
Do that? Like, behind the scenes, I find every manager.
I think it's probably the personalities of the players. I think they're like, you know, someone like Rodgers and McGinn, they probably listen and they're good guys in training and they warm to them. But
do you think it's like almost like, you know how we have office politics? You find
yeah, it's that sort of thing. You warm to certain people, you see traits in them that are similar to what you were like Emery when he was a player. You probably see some similarities in them and their personalities, and he likes them. But that shouldn't be enough for them to play every week, even when they're not performing.
But I think Brentford did.
I wasn't that impressed. Yeah. They had 22% possession or 23. I mean, that really is like, you know, just get a goal.
Were they defensively resolute against you?
They were pretty defensively resolute, but like we're not very good when teams sit back because like, we pass it way too slowly. So a lot of teams are able to kind of sit in and hold us at arm's length. So I mean, yeah, they were resolute. They had a little bit of something on the break, but 22 or maybe it was 23%. I mean, that's just like a little bit embarrassing. Like even if you're going defensive, you should at least have like over 30
that against like the big teams.
Yeah, well, that's like if you were playing if we were in the FA Cup and we played a League One team and they scrapped it, you'd expect them to have 23%. For a Prem team, you should be getting at least sort of like, around 35. But I wasn't really that impressed. I still think they'll be down there. That's why it felt frustrating, because it's like, this is probably the worst version of Brentford in recent years, and they still beat us. Like they always seem to like get something off us. So yeah, poor start to the season. It's only 2 games in though, so I'm not gonna go too crazy. The fans on social media seem a bit upset, but you know, we didn't do that well for the first half of last season really, and then we kind of turned it around and ended up near the Champions League places. So I'm not gonna go too crazy, but yeah, it's not a great start certainly.
What do you think you need in? What do you think you need to bring in players-wise until the end of the transfer window?
Well, like I said, I think we need defender. I'd love to sign a right back, because Emery if he doesn't want to play wingers, you need the width coming from the fullbacks. And that's why I think Maatsen should be playing instead of Dean, he's 32 now and he was never the quickest anyway. He kind of struggles to get up and down. And then Cash, and that was another one. I think Forest wanted Cash, they were interested in him. Yeah. As soon as I saw that, I was like, please give us 20, 25 mil, can we sell him? Like, he's all right, but he just doesn't have the quality. And
he is a Nottingham Forest boy as well.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not going to happen anymore, apparently. But it looks like we're not even like bothering to sign another right back. We're actually down on defenders from last year because we had Dizazi on loan and he's gone back. So like when Konsa was suspended, we've only got 3 centre. We've got Mings, Torres, Konsa. That's it.
I imagine you might bring in another loan situation.
Maybe, but I think we've got Bogard who kind of plays midfield or centre back. Apparently, he might just be the 4th choice centre back. Also, Kamara sometimes can play there as well as in midfield. So I'm not sure we're going to sign one. I think we're all in to just try and sign more forwards, which for me boggles my mind because again, we had Marlon, we had Guisson on the bench. He's not even using them, and it's we're going to sign another forward player. How do we even squeeze these players in? I don't understand it, but yeah. I think it's feeling like we're panicking a bit now. Like, because we haven't scored in the first 2 games, let's go out and buy Jackson or Nkunku. It's worrying me now, a smart club should plan ahead, and it's like these signings are made in advance, you've scouted them. It feels like we're starting to be a bit reactionary, and that's always a little bit of a worrying sign, to be honest. But
do you find, like, I guess Villa's problems have always been, not always, Villa's problems have been in the last year or so, the PSR, right? PSR restricted.
And then, the European one, really, which is...
And then obviously, do you want to explain that almost? Because I remember you explaining to me how qualifying for European places actually restricts you more.
Yeah, so I was puzzled when we sold Ramsey as well as to why we were doing it, because I thought it was more of a wage issue and he wasn't on necessarily high wages, etc. I didn't understand why. My reading of the situation, doing a bit of reading into in recent weeks, is the European punishments that we've been hit with are hurting us more than we thought. It's not just the fine up front, it's the fact that we need to make a net profit in every transfer window. So that's why we had to sell Ramsey to balance the purchase of Guisson. I think at the moment we're about 10 or 15 million, maybe 15 mil in the green, which allows us to get one big loan, like a Jackson or an Nkunku.
From a PSR perspective, you obviously get pure profit from Ramsey. So,
yeah, but we've never actually broken PSR. We've always been just within the realms of PSR. But then when you qualify for Europe, they only allow you to have a £60 million loss. So we're always...
You don't get the points deductions, as per se, because PSR's not the thing you're breaking.
Yeah, so we never broke the 105 million 3-year loss,
Sure.
but we were just under that. And then the year we qualified for the conference, they brought in these new rules where teams in Europe are only allowed a £60 million loss. So we got hit with that. Also, our squads, our wages are too high. It's something to do with wages to revenue, etc. Ours is like 90%. It needs to be 70%. So we got hit on 2 counts. And now there's all these stipulations where we need to make a net profit every window. Otherwise, we can't register players in Europe, etc. So I think that's actually what's hitting us more than the PSR. It's these European fines and restrictions.
So I imagine it would serve you better if you had a season where you didn't play in Europe, just to almost revitalise the team.
And interestingly, Chelsea actually are under the same restrictions and for an additional year. But they're just selling so many players. They sold Chuck now, didn't they, for 25 million? Yeah, and then they just somehow negotiate well for players. Yeah. Whereas for us, I don't think we actually get great fees for players, and especially like ones who aren't imported, even ones like Dendoncker or Moreno, you think, you could sell them for maybe like 4 or 5 mil. Yeah. We gave them both away for free.
It seems like they're all on high wages.
Yeah, that's why we struggle more than a team like Chelsea, though. We're under the same restrictions, but they've always just got a catalogue of academy players or just players somehow like Breuer, they'll sell them for 20 mil.
I think Chelsea's probably an unfair comparison. I think what really annoyed me was when I looked at when they signed the Sheer Humphreys for 12 mil, but then, Kessler Hayden, who was in the Young England under-21s a year ago, and he had a good season last year, was sold
4 mil.
For 4 mil. And
but we need to hold out for more money. We don't sell players well.
And
that's the problem.
That was really early in the window. You just cashed in straight away. So.
Yeah, obviously players like Ramsey and Grealish, we got 140 for those two, but those are kind of rated players, so that you'd expect.
Play him for a year in the Prem, you might do well, and then.
Who, Kessler?
Kessler, yeah.
I mean, he might do better than Cash. That's our probably our weakest position, so might as well give him a go. But
so you got next week?
I think we got Palace next, which.
And then international break, right?
Yeah,
so
I think so.
Will was wrong about the 2 games. It's 3 games and international break.
I'm not sure if it's before or after, to be honest. I've not checked the fixtures, but I know Palace is our next game, and they're our bogey team anyway. Emery never beats Palace. We lost them in the FA Cup, got battered by them last season.
Game?
I don't even know when it starts. It doesn't start for a while.
In the group stages of Europa, right?
It does in Europa, but it doesn't start for a while. Okay. To be honest, I'm not even thinking about Europe at the moment. I think the start to the Prem season has got us all a little bit worrying about that. But we might have to do a Tottenham and just do crap in the Prem, finish bottom half, and try and win Europa. And to be honest, I'd probably take that because I just want a trophy at this point. Because
that's your expectations of Emery this season, right?
I think so. With the Olympiacos, the embarrassing loss in the semis of the conference, and then getting battered 3-0 by Palace in the semis of the FA Cup. At this point, seeing teams winning.
I'm glad you didn't win now because you would have bottled against City.
Yeah, we would have. But seeing, Palace winning that and Newcastle winning trophies and even Tottenham winning in Europe, it's just annoying seeing all these teams winning now. And it's like we're actually in the league, if you look over the last 3 years. We've been better than these teams, but we've got nothing to show for it.
Sure.
And managers, Emery's probably not going to be at Villa for 10 years. He'll be here for another two years maybe. If he ends his stint at Villa without a trophy, it will just be a missed opportunity. Champions League was fun, but we didn't have anything to show for it. So if we had a bit of a crappy Prem season, but we just won something this year,
This is actually, I think, almost quite a pivotal season for Emery. He's got a really good opportunity to win something. at least a minimum the Europa League.
Yeah, or just take the cup seriously. That's the only benefit if we don't do well in the league. He might take both cups, domestic cups, more seriously.
Obviously, there are so many big teams wanting to win. Like, even if you look at an Arsenal, for example, even though Arsenal, City and Liverpool are going for the title, someone like Arsenal would want to get a cup underneath their belt.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. But it's just that in the past, we've got knocked out some pretty crap teams, and at times he's not played the strongest teams in the domestic cup.
Sure.
So if the league form's not going great, at least maybe he'll take it more seriously. But I just want to win a trophy, that's all. All right.
All right.